A very good, what is dreadfully rainy, awful, cold Thursday afternoon here in Manchester. But, you know, February. Right, time to return to the wonderful world of watches and the third out of four reviews of the STEINHART watches that were lent to me very graciously by XJ Steve. And today, as promised in the little glimpse I gave you, we are doing this little baby, the STEINHART Racetimer. There you go, look at that. Now, let's run through very quickly kind of the spec, and then I'll go on to my feelings on the watch. So, it is a titanium case. It's actually done to a very, very nice brushed finish, but just around the bezel there, can you see the bezel ring? Beautifully polished. Very, very nice indeed. Really, really nice. The one thing that struck me about this watch was the actual size. And I'm going to kind of repeat myself a little bit here when I was talking about the Steve McQueen GMT. It's 44mm. Now, when I first looked at that, I thought that it was slightly bigger than 44mm. Obviously, my size perception is right off kilter where watches are concerned right now. But it does wear big. It wears really big. And you bear in mind, I have an 8-inch wrist. Usually I can carry off a watch, no problem at all. But this wears really big. So if you're of a smaller wrist, again, I think I said this about the Steve McQueen GMT, 6 3/4, 7. This is going to feel huge on you. That doesn't detract from it being a lovely watch. Not at all. It's just about... this is actually an idea I've had for another video. Let me know. I'm sorry I'm going off on one here. Whether there are certain watches that certain people shouldn't wear. Let me know whether you think that's a good idea. Anyway, I think this is a watch that if you are of a smaller wrist, I would think twice, if indeed think at all, about buying this. It is going to wear really, really big. I'm not going to tell you how thick it is right now. A lot of you will know, but I'm going to come back to that at the end. It obviously has screwed down crown and pushers. It has a lovely, lovely day date at the 3. It has a beautiful padded leather strap, absolutely gorgeous, stitched beautifully in orange down both sides, with a brushed, a brushed titanium clasp with a butterfly clasp underneath. Absolutely lovely, so that you're not constantly bending the strap and making it all creased. I think this is the way that most manufacturers should go. Something like this, so that you don't ruin your beautiful leather strap. The strap reminds me greatly of my rotary chronospeed strap, which is navy blue with white stitching down the edge, and it is padded like this. I mean, this is lovely. I mean, that must be a good 2mm, 2.5mm of padding. That is absolutely beautiful and very, very comfortable. And the back, you have a exhibition case. Let's get it, there you go. showing the gorgeous, one of my favourite, if not favouriteest movements, the Valjoux 7750. Absolutely lovely. What I love about the movement is that the dial, when it is a 7750 movement, can be no other way. It just can't. You've always got a day date, and you've always got the 3 sub-dials, 1, 2, 3, in that configuration, and it is absolutely lovely, and I love it for that. And that is probably the reason why I love the IWC Portofino, which was one of the 2 watches I was trying to separate when I was shopping for the Hulk. What I like about the 7750 is the ease in which the rotor spins. You can probably see, if I just look at that, look how free that is. And when you're moving your wrist, you can actually feel that spinning. You can actually feel your watch charging, which I love about the 7750. Now, you know, I know that the 7750 is a generation from the ETA movement, which is then the nicer, more engineered version, which makes the Valjoux that's in this. It is, in my view, one of the greatest movements, certainly one of the greatest chronograph movements that has ever been, and I would wager to say that it's one of the greatest chronograph movements there is ever likely to be. Let's move on. When I first opened the box on this, it struck me as a really, really beautiful watch to look at. And the more I looked at it, the more I was asking myself questions. I was saying, well, yeah, hang on a minute. I've not had my hands on any Steinhardts at all. But there's something about this that reminds me of something. And it wasn't until I got home that I realised what it was. And I went to my brochures and pulled out that and went through it and found those. Now, in effect, what Steinhardt have done, have recreated that. I will try and hold them together. There you go. But what they've done, they've rotated the dial through 90 degrees so that the colour scheme is slightly different. But I was stunned how alike those are. So, you know, any reminiscence of this to this, in my view, must be a good thing. Now, let's move on to my feelings of this now that we've gone past the aesthetic and the mechanical side of it. I told you I wasn't going to tell you the width of it. I am now. It's 16 mil. 16. It is huge. It is a hefty, thick piece of a watch. Now, when I was watch shopping, you probably remember that one of the things that was shouting at me really hard was the Omega Good Planet. And the reason that that was put aside in the end was because it was 16 mil. And having worn this, I'm now convinced that I made the right decision not to buy the Good Planet, because this stands so high on your wrist. I've tried it with a couple of shirts, and unless your shirt is, you know, of a decent cuff width, length, thickness, whatever you want to call it, if you're wearing a double button dinner shirt, for instance, or a tailored business shirt, this will not go under the cuff. It will stand proud, and it will end up here, where the crowns and the pushers will push into your hand. Has that spoiled the watch for me a little bit? Yes, I think it has. But what I also think has spoiled this for me a little bit is that I wore the Steve McQueen GMT prior to this, because I enjoyed wearing the GMT so much that this had a little bit of a mountain to climb, to be perfectly honest. So, the STEINHART Racetimer, a good looking watch. Great big echoes of the Tudor, as I've shown you. A beautiful movement inside, one of my favourite movements. Screw down crown, screw down pushers, double AR coating on the internal of the sapphire. So absolutely nothing to decry this watch as far as a potential purchase. Would I buy one? No, I wouldn't. And it's not because I don't like it, it is because of that. And that is the only reason, and it is the same reason I didn't buy the Omega. I've enjoyed wearing this, but it stands a little bit proud even on my 8-inch wrist. And as I said right at the beginning of the video, if you're of a 6 3/4, 7-inch, this will wear big, really big. But it's a gorgeous looking watch. If you can carry it off and you don't mind it sitting proud, it's a great watch for you to own, and you have every right to be proud of owning it. But for me, it isn't for me. It just isn't. So there it is, the STEINHART Racemaster, the third of 4 reviews. I will be doing the next review either later today or tomorrow, and once those are done, I will arrange with Steve to get his pride and joys back to him. So for now, that's it. I've not checked my figures today, so I don't know whether anybody's subscribed, but for those who have, I've now got back to all of you, I think. I think I've replied to all of you who've commented on previous videos. Thanks a lot for watching. If you're liking this, give it a thumbs up, and if you're liking generally what's going on in this little house of nutcasery, then feel free to subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.